Welcome back, everyone. I'm Robin from This Blog's Neat and Rum et al. And recently I was on an episode of the Rum Cast. It was really fun to get to talk to John and Will, the two hosts of the Rum Cast. And I'm sure most of you have listened to that episode. We talked about my rums. We talked about nerdy production stuff. We also talked a little bit about bugs and lizards in Florida. And also I gave some updates on Rum et al. And what the future holds, essentially. If you haven't listened to that episode already, I think it was a good one. Let me know what you think, but I've got a link in the description below where you can go watch that or listen to that if you want to listen to it. But yeah, in that episode, I discuss a couple of Rum et al. Updates, and I wanted to fill you guys in to make sure you were in the loop with these updates. Now, if you're one of my Patreons, you get continually filled in on what's going on, what's the latest news. And speaking of my Patreons, I do want to give a huge shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for helping to support the channel. Now, if you, the viewer, would also like to support the channel, I'd be super appreciative if you just subscribe, do the normal YouTube things. But if you'd like to support the channel further, you can join us over on Patreon. And I've got a link in the description below. But anyway, Rum et al. Is going through a new phase, essentially. So let's talk about it. First of all, as I'm sure you know, my rums are getting distributed. And this is a little bit of a change of what I've been doing because up until recently, I have been selling to California consumers only, direct-to-consumer sales and shipping, all online at Dead of Night's website. But being distributed means now I can get into bars and restaurants and be more widely available for consumers. I'm really excited to have my rums in bars and restaurants and liquor stores and in the hands of consumers that are outside of California. So this is exciting news for me. But you might be wondering, who exactly is distributing my rums? So drum roll. In California, I'm going to be distributed by Superlative Spirits. They're based out here in Los Angeles. You might know Ryan Gilberti. And then on the East Coast, I'm going to be distributed by Raising Glasses. They're not only an independent bottler, but they're also a distributor. And they're based in Massachusetts. So I'll try to do my best to keep you guys posted on what liquor stores my bottles are available in, by keeping that list as up to date as I can over on my website, rumatelier.com. But the best thing you can do is if you want one of your liquor stores, your local liquor stores, to carry my rums, request it. Keep asking them for it and have them reach out to Ryan Gilberti at Superlative Spirits out here. Or if you're in Massachusetts, you can have them reach out to John and Lori of Raising Glasses. Another cool part for consumers, besides the fact that my rums will be out in the wild, is that Raising Glasses has an online shop and they are able to ship to a ton of states in the US. I think it's every state except for these ones listed right here. But the good news is that if you're outside of California, it's now more likely that you'll actually be able to get your hands on my rum. So it'll be a whole lot easier versus having to come to California to actually get those rums. And according to Raising Glasses, they're trying to have my bottles up on their website by the end of the month, which is really cool, really exciting. Also, some of you may have seen over on Patreon or maybe over on Instagram the palette that I sent to Raising Glasses. And on that palette, there is more than just cases of my rum. So that's a little hint of what's to come. So stay tuned for that. Okay, next on my update list is that I will actually be pouring rum on Memorial Day at the Rum Curious Summit in Long Beach. So come sample, baseline, variable dunderclap, and variable tailspin, all side by side. And if you're up for it, you can even taste all three of them blind. Now, the first 20 people who are able to correctly guess which is in which bottle will get a free wee Glencairn. I should have one right here. Here's a picture of one right here. You'll get to take home a free Rum It All wee Glencairn for the first 20 people who are able to correctly guess which rum is which in a blind tasting. There's also going to be tons of other amazing rum brands there. There's a bartender battle. There's some seminars as well. There's cocktails. There's food. And I hope you guys can make it and come stop by if you do make it. Okay, and next, my final update, which is arguably the most exciting update, I think. As you know, I have been for the last year operating out of Dead of Night Distillery. Aaron, the owner, has been gracious enough to let me take up space there, take up still time, and operate there as if it were my own distillery. And it's been an amazing opportunity. And yeah, I didn't even think it was possible that I would be able to get an opportunity like this. And now that it's time for Rum It All to grow so it can be more widely available to consumers regularly, I am starting my own distillery. So it's a big undertaking, but I'm very excited about it. And as I mentioned on the Rumcast interview, I didn't actually set out to start my own rum distillery. It's a lot of work. It's a huge undertaking. It's very expensive. It's very time consuming, and especially trying to stay a small boutique craft distillery. It's really, really hard. And I've seen that firsthand, how challenging that can be. And it's the reason why a lot of small craft distilleries in the US set out to start creating, making whiskeys, delicious whiskeys, and then they end up pivoting to just focusing on making vodkas and gins because vodka pays the bills. It's also why so many craft distilleries end up having to close their doors after a handful of years. It's really, really hard, and it's a lot of work to actually be able to stay sustainable. But big but here, I've always wanted to share my experiments, share my rum, share what I think is so exciting about the rum industry and about spirits production with others, with consumers. And because I've gotten this amazing opportunity to start at dead of night, and it feels like I'm not starting from scratch, I'm building up a little bit of momentum where it feels less hard to actually start a distillery of my own. So yeah, I'm taking the plunge and going to start my own distillery. And you may have noticed that I've been much less active on YouTube, posting fewer videos this year, and that's because I have been diligently working to find a space for the distillery. This is step one before I can even apply for any of the licenses or anything like that. You need to find the space, but the first step is well underway. We haven't found the space yet, but I am on the hunt daily. So I'm going to see a place today, by the way. I'll keep you updated, and soon enough it will exist. But in the meantime, let me know what questions you have about starting a craft distillery. I feel like a lot of people didn't know that you actually needed to have a space first before you could actually apply for any of your licenses or anything like that. And this is just one thing, one part of the behind the scenes of starting, owning, operating a craft distillery. So is this something you're even interested in hearing about? Please let me know. Anyways, guys, those are my updates. As always, please feel free to reach out with any questions at all, comments, suggestions. Let me know what you think would be really interesting to hear about as far as, again, starting a craft distillery goes, or rum production or anything like that. I'm happy to answer any questions. And stay tuned for more updates. Is that Raising Glasses has an online